Ever wondered how to make the perfect Peking duck at home? Welcome, culinary explorers, to a special journey that will take you right into the heart of Chinese cuisine. Today, we're going to demystify the art of making Peking duck, an iconic dish known for its beautifully crispy skin and succulent meat. We'll be taking you through each step of the process, from preparing the duck, drying and roasting, all the way to carving and serving it with the traditional accompaniments. Along the way, we'll also delve into the rich history of Peking duck, a dish that dates back to the imperial era and has been delighting palates for centuries. Whether you're a seasoned cook or a beginner in the kitchen, by the end of this video you'll have all the knowledge you need to recreate this Chinese delicacy in your own home. So, without further ado, brace yourselves for a culinary journey to China. First things first, the duck, the hero of our dish. Preparing the duck is a crucial step in mastering Peking duck, and every detail counts. We start with a whole duck. It's important to choose a duck that's fresh and of good quality, as this will greatly influence the final taste of our dish. Once we have our duck, the first step is cleaning. We rinse it well under cold water, ensuring that it's thoroughly cleaned both inside and out. This will help to remove any impurities and ensures our duck is ready for the next steps in our preparation. Next, we move on to a step that's unique to Peking duck, pumping air between the skin and the meat. This might seem a little unconventional, but it's key to achieving that signature crispy skin we're aiming for. By separating the skin from the meat, we're allowing the skin to crisp up beautifully during the cooking process, while the meat remains succulent and tender. After our duck has been inflated, we blanch it. Blanching is a process where we briefly immerse the duck in boiling water and then immediately cool it down. This helps to tighten the skin and primes it for the next step: flavoring. For flavoring, we brush our duck with a mixture of maltose and vinegar. Maltose is a type of sugar, and it'll help give our duck that beautiful golden brown color once it's cooked. The vinegar, on the other hand, will cut through the richness of the duck and add a subtle tanginess that complements the overall flavor. And with that, we've prepared our duck. Each step we've taken, from cleaning to flavoring, is integral to creating a Peking duck that's authentically delicious and true to its Chinese roots. And now, we move on to the next vital step: drying the duck. Drying the duck is what gives us that perfectly crispy skin. Now that our duck is well prepared, it's time to focus on this essential step. The drying process might seem simple, but it's what sets the stage for that quintessential crunch we're after. So, how do we go about it? We hang the duck in a cool, well-ventilated spot. This could be a spot in your kitchen, or even an outdoor area if the weather allows. The key here is to let the air circulate around the duck to dry out the skin. And we're not rushing this step, we're giving it a full 24 hours. Why all this effort? This drying process allows the skin to tighten, which is what will give us that tantalizing crackle when we bite into the finished dish. With our duck now ready to roast, it's time to fire up the oven. Roasting the duck is where the magic really happens. This process transforms our carefully prepared and dried duck into a crispy, succulent masterpiece. So, let's dive into it. The roasting process begins with preheating our oven. Though Peking duck is traditionally cooked in a wood-fired oven, for our home cooking journey, a conventional oven will work perfectly. The key here is temperature control. We'll start by preheating the oven to a high temperature. This initial blast of heat will help to crisp up the skin. Once the oven is hot, it's time to introduce our duck. Place it on a rack in a roasting pan to allow the heat to circulate evenly. Then, it's into the oven it goes. This initial roasting at high temperature should last for about 15 minutes. You'll start to see the skin getting that beautiful golden color. Now it's time to turn down the heat. Lowering the temperature allows the duck to cook through slowly without burning the skin. This is when our duck truly begins to transform, with the heat gently rendering the fat and the skin becoming gloriously crisp. The duck should roast at this lower temperature for about an hour. But remember, every oven is different, so it's always a good idea to keep an eye on your duck as it cooks. We're looking for that perfect balance between a crispy skin and succulent, tender meat. Once our duck has achieved that beautiful golden brown color and the skin is perfectly crispy, it's time to take it out of the oven and let it rest. Allowing the duck to rest helps the juices redistribute throughout the meat, ensuring every bite is moist and flavorful. And there we have it, the art of roasting a Peking duck. It's a process that requires patience and attention to detail, but the end result is so worth it. While our duck is roasting, let's prepare the accompaniments. Peking duck isn't complete without its traditional accompaniments. So, let's dive right into it. First up, we have the thin pancakes. These pancakes are the canvas upon which we'll paint our culinary masterpiece. They're delicate, thin, and slightly chewy, providing a beautiful contrast to the crispy duck skin. Making these pancakes from scratch can be an art in itself. It requires a mixture of flour, hot water, and a pinch of salt, kneaded into a dough. This dough is then rolled out into thin circles and lightly cooked on a pan until they're just right. Remember, practice makes perfect, so don't worry if your first few pancakes aren't exactly round. Next, we have the spring onions and cucumber. These fresh ingredients add a splash of color and a crunch that balances out the rich, fatty duck. Slice them into thin strips, ensuring they're just the right size to fit onto the pancake without overpowering the star of the show, our duck. The spring onions bring a mild, sweet flavor, contrasting beautifully with the savory duck, while the cucumber offers a refreshing crunch, helping to cut through the richness of the dish. Last but not least, we have the hoisin sauce. This sweet and salty sauce is the glue that binds everything together. It's thick, dark, and has a depth of flavor that elevates the dish to new heights. A small dollop of this sauce spread onto the pancake before adding the duck, spring onions, and cucumber creates a delightful symphony of flavors in every bite. Each of these accompaniments plays a crucial role in the Peking duck experience. The pancakes, spring onions, cucumber, and hoisin sauce all work together to create a harmonious blend of textures and flavors that make this dish truly special. Now that everything is ready, it's time for the final act, carving and serving. The moment we've all been waiting for, carving and serving. Now that our duck is perfectly roasted, it's time to carve it up. Remember, Peking duck is all about the balance of textures and flavors, so we aim to include a bit of that crispy skin and tender meat in each slice. Carving a duck might seem intimidating, but it's simpler than you think. Starting from the neck, use a sharp knife to slice downwards, following the contour of the bird. The slices should be thin, but not so thin that they fall apart. Once the duck is carved, it's time to assemble our pancake. Spread a dollop of hoisin sauce on the warm pancake. This gives our bite a rich, sweet, and salty base. Then, place a slice of duck on top. The crispy skin and tender meat are the stars of the show after all. But we're not done yet. Add a few strips of cucumber and spring onions. Their freshness will cut through the richness of the duck and hoisin sauce, creating a balance of flavors that is truly irresistible. Finally, roll up the pancake and voila! You've just made your very own Peking duck pancake. It's a symphony of flavors and textures, all wrapped up in one delightful package. And there you have it, your very own Peking duck, a dish that's as delightful to make as it is to eat. What a culinary adventure we've been on today. We've journeyed to the heart of Chinese cuisine, mastering each step to create the iconic Peking duck, from preparing and drying the duck, roasting it to perfection, to crafting the essential accompaniments, and finally, the artful carving and serving. So why not embark on this culinary journey yourself? The result is a dish that's as delightful to make as it is to eat. Thanks for joining us on this culinary adventure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your experiences with us.